Hey there, welcome back to Emotional Mojo. So our guest today is on a mission to inspire us all to embrace love and compassion toward others, especially when it comes to the rights of same-sex couples. Chris Macllellan's personal loss is helping others gain awareness, and we're happy to welcome him here. Welcome to our show, Chris.
Thanks for having me.
So, and we know it's under, some sad circumstances, but there is good coming from your story. And it was first chronicled in your local paper. So it basically followed you and your partner of 11 years, Richard, who was terminally ill. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, we were approached last August from the Sun Sentinel about doing a story on caregiving as it related to same-sex couples.
Okay.
And we jumped right in. We wanted to get involved because we thought that the message was important to find out what same-sex couples deal with in hospital settings, in medical settings. And his cancer hadn't really reappeared at the beginning of when the Sun Sentinel started to follow us. It was towards the end when we got involved with the hospital and facilities and all the issues that came up on a regular basis.
Wow. And so we speak of issues, and as a gay couple, I mean, you both knew the rules would be different for you regarding visitation rights and decision making. So how were you able to get around this even though you weren't married? What were some of the difficulties?
Well, the most important thing is you have to make sure that your healthcare surrogate papers are all up to date.
Absolutely.
And one of the great things at the article, how they described it, was kind of like love letters back and forth to us. We knew early on that we were going to have these papers in place so that if there was an issue, whether it was him or me, that we would have access.
And what does that mean? Can you explain that?
Yeah,
'Cause you've dealt with this.
yeah, as everyone knows, I lost my husband about 20 months ago, and so your healthcare surrogate is the person that makes decisions on your behalf if you're not able to speak. So, if you go into a coma, if you're on a ventilator, any of that kind of stuff, if you have like if you don't have a DNR, DNR is do not resuscitate, that means that they're going to keep you alive unless someone says something different, and that's what your healthcare surrogate is in charge of doing.
Very important to have those documents, whether or not you're a gay couple or a straight couple.
Absolutely.
Because invariably, what it goes to, if you don't have those in place, it goes to the next of kin. And that's why this has been such an important issue for us, because when Richard died, we had an immediate issue with Science Care. They weren't going to accept his donation because they had not read the paper.
He wanted to donate his organs. Afterward.
Yes.
And this became a problem.
It became an hour after he died. I received a phone call from Science Care. Your paperwork isn't complete. Well, I'm pretty diligent. I know, I cross all the T's, dot all the I's, and it was just an hour after he dies, and they're telling me they're not accepting his donation. What are you going to do? And we had, even in his will, we made sure that I had custody of the remains. That was really the turning point in them reversing their decision. But it's these uncomfortable things that sometimes we have to talk about that we need to get out in the open.
Well, and there is good coming from this, thankfully. I mean, you were asked, you got a call from the Broward Health North CEO to speak at the hospital's next management meeting. What was the response, and how is that going?
It was terrific. Actually, one of our hospital visits, we got into the emergency room, and the two attending physicians came in, and they focused completely on Richard. They didn't even notice. They didn't even notice me. And when I kind of spoke up, they looked at me and they said, "Well, who are you, and what are you doing?"
I've only been there for 11 years, and the one person who's closest with him,
and who knew the full story. And when I was able to talk to them from a position of authority per se, then they realized that I had valuable information that was going to help them.
Well, and I think that's the important thing to know here is that when you're a caregiver, it doesn't matter if you're gay or straight, you're black or white, you're whatever. It's you are caring for the person that you love.
Well, and even heterosexual couples who aren't married are going to run into some issues too. So I mean, what's your goal here? I mean, you've got this blog, thepurplejacket.com. You're out there trying to spread a message. What's the message you want to drive home to people?
The message, there's a couple of things. One, love, care, and commitment are the same for any two people.
Absolutely.
No matter what gender. And with that, respect. We all might come from different backgrounds, different faith beliefs, But when we're centered around love, care, and commitment, what really can go wrong?
Yeah. I want to thank you for sharing your story
this has been
with
terrific
us,
today.
sharing Richard's story, his legacy. You said you're living his legacy now.
We're living the legacy. This is what we wanted to do.
And you guys can check out thepurplejacket.com to get more info. We're going to have you